Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. And you know it.
With a tear in my eye.
The cream of the crop. Acknowledge me.
What's up, everybody? Episode 336 of Top Rope Nation, the WrestleMania 40 preview show. Ryan Drosty, Justin Joint, Jesse Velasquez, and a special guest who I will introduce momentarily. As we're talking WrestleMania, it's that time of the year. I've got a pretty good beer in my glass tonight, fellas. I'm going to ask all of you what you got in the glass. Justin Joint, anything special to sip on as we talk Mania tonight?
A hearty pour of gin and tonic, because it has been one of those nights where you know you're a good parent, but you really start to question it a little bit when your kids throwing temper tantrums, and you just start to wonder, like, what am I doing wrong here?
It's just the age. No matter how good you are, that happens.
It is just brutal.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Gin and tonic's always solid. Jesse, what about you, sir?
So 365 days from now, you're probably either going to want to do this pre-show on a Monday night, because I'll be at Wally Mania at this time. Just a heads up.
Let's hope.
Let's
hope.
I think I'm going to be as confident as everybody is in Minneapolis, even though their rumor has it might be getting away because we're overconfident.
Apparently that happened a couple of years ago. That was the deal.
With who? With Minneapolis?
Yeah. Apparently it worked against them. WWE's considering it, and they were so confident, and they talked about it, and they pulled it from them. What happened to Minnesota Nice? Come on, we got to keep this reserved a little bit, Jesse.
Do they usually announce by now where next year's is going to take place?
Sometimes they have, other times they announce it during the show. There's not really a rule.
Okay.
So I assume they'll announce it one of the nights this weekend. We'll see.
Shout out to everybody there, including the Jenkinsons. I think they're going to start all their festivities tomorrow. I'm following Justin's lead from last week from my Happy's 4-pack. Single speed, tiny dancer.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I like it.
Nice. Well, since we're drinking beers from each other's hometown, I have one modest dream yard left. Jesse, I saved it for tonight. I almost had it the other night because I'm telling you, I love this beer. And it was looking at me in the fridge, and it was calling my name, and I was like, no, I got to save it for the pod WrestleMania preview. So that's what I have. Let's throw it to our guest. Now, this guest will be familiar with you guys. He's been on the pod many, many times. The Bret Hart draft. He's been on pay-per-view reviews. I know he was on the WrestleMania preview last year, maybe even the year before. Ryan Huffman, I don't know how many times you've been on the pod, but we always enjoy talking to you. Last year, you were actually about to be on your way out to Los Angeles for Mania. This year, you'll be watching it from home like all of us. How you doing tonight? And do you have anything special on the glass?
I'm going to be the odd one out. I know about 9 years ago or 10 years ago, I went to WrestleMania 30 that was sponsored by Mountain Dew. So I am sponsoring your show with my lame Mountain Dew tonight, but I'm doing real good. Excited to be on. Just kind of bummed I'm not going out there, but I'm actually okay with that too. I'm saving up for next year.
I've got some of that sweet Mountain Dew money. Send it in, Mountain Dew. Yes, go ahead, Justin.
I got a question. What time do you go to bed? Does caffeine just not affect you at all?
No, it's funny. I coach. I coach in the winter, and I'll have like a Mountain Dew at like 11 at night while watching like game film and putting the stats in. So like, I don't know. I think in the winter, I think I probably average like 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. But
holy smokes! I thought I'll have a little caffeine bump around like 2:33 every day just to keep going. But man, I can't imagine having one this late.
Yeah, no, it doesn't affect me at all.
Wow.
Okay, so that means Ryan Huffman's superpower is caffeine doesn't affect him. Justin Joint, your superpower is you can ignore pro wrestling commentary. Jesse Velasquez, your superpower is that you're just the fittest damn wrestling podcaster there ever was. I don't think I have a superpower. I got to figure out something because you guys you got it going. But yeah, Huffman, great to have you on and to get your perspectives on it as we get ready for a WrestleMania 40. So I think last year, the first question I had for you all is, what's your excitement level going in? And Ryan, last year you said it was pretty high because you were on your way to Los Angeles like the next day, I want to say. Where are you at, Ryan Huffman, for WrestleMania 40? What's that excitement level at?
I'm probably about a 7. I mean, I always love WrestleMania weekend, and what we were talking about before air. My excitement level is actually about them announcing where it's going to be next year. I'm pretty excited. I think that'll come out on the show, and I think pretty good card overall. I think the build's been good. There's a few matches I probably would have built a little differently, but we can get into that as we go. But I don't know. Great weekend. It's wrestling nonstop here. I don't know how many hours it is from start to finish, and I got some friends who are out in Philadelphia, and I've already been seeing like pictures of different indie shows, and I'm a big WrestleCon guy. That's my favorite event of WrestleMania weekend, actually, is going to WrestleCon, and just excited for my friends who are all out there this year.
Nice. Yeah, the store, the world looked incredible, I gotta say. I like some of that stuff. I've only been to WrestleMania twice, but Justin, we were able to go to like the big WrestleMania store they had in New Orleans, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think unfortunately for us, like we kind of waited till like right before WrestleMania actually started, so it had been picked over big time. It was kind of empty by the time we got there.
I remember I got my wife a shirt. I didn't get myself one there, and I was carrying around a little bag with a WrestleMania women's shirt the whole rest of the night until we left the Superdome at like 12:30 in the morning or whatever it was. Because we walked from there.
Would it have been a Charlotte shirt?
No, it was like a purple and gold WrestleMania New Orleans logo shirt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember we went right from there to a bar downtown where we met up with Kyle and some of his friends, and we went right from that bar to the Superdome. We were there all night, a long time. And so maybe next year we'll be at US Bank Stadium. We'll see. I sure hope so. Justin, what's your excitement level for these 2 nights this year?
I would actually probably agree with Ryan. It's probably at a 7, but my 7 is kind of based solely on the main event stuff. I am not as sold on the undercard this year. I think last year's undercard was a bit deeper and a bit more exciting. For me, there's nothing really all that tantalizing outside of the the Rock, Reigns, Cody, Seth, Drew McIntyre stuff.
What about you, Jesse?
I think I'll go the same. And I like the card a little more. There's the IC title match yet again. I'm pretty excited. I like the Monday night vignette. I thought that was pretty hilarious. It's leaving it open ended, so we'll see how it goes. I do have a question. I did see the scroll on the bottom of the patrons. Did I see another new person sign up?
Greg Coleman. Is that the one you're thinking of? Yes, indeed. Our guy Greg Coleman did sign up. He was a free member for a while.
Cool.
Yeah, because you can officially join the Patreon for free if you want, but there's not really any benefits. We were actually talking about this earlier today. That, if you're on the free side, I'll send out like reminders when we go live, but you don't get any of the bonus content. And Greg, yes, he converted his membership to the $5 tier, so he's getting all the bonus podcasts now. Absolutely. We're
gonna have to have Greg on for a celebratory Caleb Williams Bears podcast.
Don't go there. He's still stuck on Justin Fields. Don't go there. Maybe if he plays well next year, we'll do that.
Go get Seth Rollins in the meantime.
Seth Rollins has some very bad football takes. Even though he's a fellow Bears fan, I'll just leave it at that. Justin was sending me some of these today, and I don't think he's a very wise football fan. I'll just say that.
His Bears takes are as bad as his dress attire.
Yes, indeed.
That's his wife's stylist.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll go 8 out of 10. I'll say 8 out of 10. I think the main events both nights I'm very excited for. I think the presentation going in has been awesome. The undercard, I agree with Justin. The undercard's not as good as last year, but I think that it's top heavy for sure. But I think at the top, it's very interesting. I think the star power obviously is great, and I'm really looking forward to it. You know, I've said on the pod over the years, I would far prefer a one night tight card to this. But if they're going to have this many matches, 2 nights is the way to go. Makes it a little bit more manageable. I hope we're not going 4.5 hours every night. I do see that they've got 7 matches on night 1 and 6 on night 2. I feel like the last couple of years they kept it fairly tight each. Like, was it like 3.5 hours?
I think
Maybe
so.
3
Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't go much longer than that. I think we're planning on reviewing them the next morning. So if you guys aren't in our Facebook group and you didn't see this, or if you're not a patron, because I did put this out on Patreon, in our Facebook group, Instagram, we got a busy weekend coming up, you guys, because 1 hour prior to each night of WrestleMania, we're doing the TRN virtual hangout, the happy hour event. And this is open to our $10 plus tier patrons. If you're on one of the higher tiers on Patreon, that's one of the benefits is we do these virtual hangouts, have some drinks. And we'll just be doing that for an hour before WrestleMania starts each night. And then, like I said, the following morning, we're going to be doing our review shows. That's how we did it last year, and I think the year before too. So Sunday morning and then Monday morning, we will be doing each night's review. And then I will actually be live during the main event, both nights, and for a little bit afterwards with some instant reaction over on the BR app on Bleacher Report. So you can tune in live for that if you want to hear me, and Jeremy Lose will be on there. And then, as I've done in the past, I rip the audio from that and I put it out as a bonus podcast, Top Rope Nation Extra. That's for our $5 and up tier patrons. So if you want to support the show, become a patron. We pump this every week. It's the best way to ensure our show continues for just a few bucks a month, and you get all this great bonus content. You can get in on the virtual hangouts. We just recorded a new Top Rope Nation Classics 2 nights ago with our friend Jay Schmitz, who was at WrestleMania 18. Might be the longest and one of the best podcasts we've ever done. We went almost 3 hours on WrestleMania 18. If you're a patron, you can watch the video of it right now. I will have the podcast mixed. The plan is before Saturday. So I'm hoping to get that done tomorrow. It's going to take me some time. I'm trying to get it out before Mania starts. So, you know, maybe while you're pre-gaming for WrestleMania, you can start listening to that one. Ton of fun. Check that out. Busy weekend coming up.
Our patrons kick ass. Join them if you haven't already.
Here's one of them right here, Ryan Huffman, one of our longest supporters on Patreon. Really appreciate it, Ryan. Yes, thumbs up. All right, so I think we should just start at the top of the card. You know, that's the most interesting thing, obviously. Let's look at the tag match and the build for this, for everything that's been happening. We've been talking about it a lot in recent weeks, of course, but Rock and Roman, Rock's first, real match since 29, was it? 11 years ago? Because he did that brief thing. I'm not going to count that. So it's been over a decade.
32 in Dallas.
Yeah, that doesn't really count. I know they said I think on Raw they were like first match in 8 years. And it's like, more like 11. So they're protecting him. It's a tag team match. He's looked great on TV. I read that, you know, he had a ring sent out to his house. He's had wrestlers out there training with him to get ready for this.
Gallus.
I think every single week he's been getting better on the microphone. I've said it before. Best entrance presentation in the entire company. Crowds going wild for him. I thought Monday night was great. That promo where they showed the I don't know if they were TikToks or whatever with the kids reacting to him beating up Cody, and then he's like, "Let the Rock drop some gospel on you." That was tremendous stuff. I felt bad when that little girl said she wouldn't watch Moana again, because I love Moana. Love a good Moana viewing. That was so funny though. Great segment. I'm really looking forward to seeing how The Rock does out there in the ring. And I think Rock and Roman win this match, personally, to keep it interesting for night 2. Justin, how do you feel about the build? How do you see this match going on Saturday night on night 1?
Yeah, I don't know if they've ever righted the plane more quickly than they did with this build, considering how poorly they fumbled it, that is, coming out of the gates. You know, you guys are a little bit better at regularly watching Raw. They have not ever actually explained away Cody giving away the match, right? They're just kind of said, no, that we screwed up. We're moving forward.
He even skimmed on it with Ariel Helwani as well. Because Ariel
really?
asked him kind of that question, and Cody just scooted right past it.
Oh, bummer. Shit. I would love to know the answer to that. But once they got past that, once they decided on the direction they wanted to go, I think it's been one of the best WrestleMania main event builds. In a long time. And The Rock, I still don't like the nostalgia stuff. I don't like, the Rock concert, but when he's actually playing the heel character and it's actually like the emotion driven stuff in the ring, the fighting, the talking, he's been incredible. Just fantastic. I absolutely loved it. I was really this is so stupid. I was really thrown off. Ryan changed the banner in our Facebook group and it really threw me off. He changed it to a picture of Rock and Roman from this most recent Raw. I was like, what the hell? And I finally got around to watching it last night. I was like, oh, that freaking ruled. Okay, now I understand. That was fantastic.
So I think he's actually been getting away from the nostalgia stuff, which is why exactly he's been getting better. Like that promo in Brooklyn Monday, there's almost no nostalgia. He's been morphing his old presentation into this new with, the final boss stuff and dropping some gospel. Man's got to do what a man's got to do. Like it was mostly original. And that was probably my favorite promo he's had since he's been back. Those first couple was all nostalgia, just the way he attacked the crowd, the way he delivered. He feels way more fresh right now. And actually, if he does go away after Mania, I'm kind of bummed about it. He's been super compelling on TV, I think.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I mean, so I guess all that's left for me is I think I agree with you that it's going to be Rock and Roman winning. Although my only concern is that are we going to have a bunch of outside shenanigans in the main event on both nights? Because I don't know how I feel about that. And my biggest concern is they're not just going to let Cody win outright on Sunday night, that somebody's going to help him get the win, maybe help him too much where it doesn't feel like he truly got the win, won the championship. That's kind of my big concern. Like, I think we had talked about it, last week or the week before that, there's a chance that we might be seeing Cena and Stone Cold, make an appearance, considering they're two of Rock's greatest opponents. Do we think that's going to be on night 1 or night 2? So there is part of me that kind of hopes they do all the fun gaga, as Pat Patterson would call it, on night 1, and we just get the straight up match on night 2.
What do you think, Jesse?
That's an option. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be Rock and Roman as well, with Bloodline rules in the championship match for night number 2. I'll save my thoughts on that for later. Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I hope it turns into more of a brawl and a fight than it does a wrestling match, because I've been adamant, I'll say it again, Dwayne tore his adductor and oblique, and he's 51 years old, hasn't been in ring shape in 11 years, and when he broke down. He's still huge. Those muscles are still huge, but those joints and tendons are still the same. So I do have my concerns there. I'm sticking. I echo with a lot of Justin sentiments, and I'm gonna also go with Rock and Roman to win on night 1.
I think when he's in the ring, it needs to be Seth mostly selling all over the place for him. Like he needs to mostly be on offense, not taking a lot of falls. And if you got, I know technically Seth's the champion, quote unquote champion, but you don't, especially if Cody's actually going to win, you don't really want him selling all over the place for Rock and then winning the world title the next night. So that's got to fall to Seth, I think.
And that's the other thing is like, it'd be kind of weird if the baby faces won on night 1, because you kind of want to save that for night 2, which I guess, in Seth's case, that might not be where we're leaning, but at least for Cody, I'll let Ryan go, but Ryan Huffman, that is. But I do have a question for you guys afterwards.
All right. Huffman, we've been talking about it for weeks now. So what have you thought about The Rock's comeback? How do you see this match going?
Really enjoyed The Rock's comeback. I was actually at 32 when he had his last, match. So it was like cool to see him, but that was what it was. I was joking with my brother. I've loved the Final Boss stuff to a point where I said, hey, if there's a cool Final Boss shirt that comes out, I will buy that immediately. And in true WWE fashion, they came out with a very lame,
it's not
Final
great.
Boss. And I
Really?
just hope
all it says is Final Boss. Like,
it just says
small.
Final Boss. So generic. And I'm like, come on, we got to do better than that. And as long as we don't get Michael Cole saying it's Final Boss time or something like that, I'm going to agree with Justin's point. I'm really excited for the main event. The little bit of me is nervous. I think it would be better. I don't care if the bloodline gets involved, but with it being the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, I fully expect, I think we're going to see Hogan. I think we're going to see Cena. I think we'll see Austin, Undertaker. I just really don't want to see him get involved in this. I feel like that turns into a lot of the Triple H Sting from 31, where I thought that match had enough, but then you brought in the NWO and DX, and I still don't really know what that was, and in the worst probably match decision in WWE history for who should have gone over, in my opinion. But I don't know. I just hope we don't get a lot of the outside. Like, would it be fun to see all those guys? Absolutely. I just don't think that's the right spot. So,
yeah, I hadn't even really thought of them getting involved in this match. I'm going to be honest with you. I think we do see those guys too, but I don't think they're going to get involved in the match. I agree. That would be that'd be a disaster. I don't think you should do that. It'd be totally overbooked and horrible. I think you keep it to these guys. So who do you think is going to win night one?
I'll go Rock and Roman. I think you can stack even more against Cody. And then that kind of makes that moment even more if he wins night two. I don't know. Seth Rollins, we talked about. I think Seth Rollins is probably not going to have a very good weekend. I think he's probably going to, and we'll talk about that, but I think he's probably going to be 0 for 2 this weekend. But
yeah, agree. I mean, I think he should be. We'll see. But that's where I'm at too. So then go ahead, Justin. You had that question.
Yeah. Actually, I got 2 questions. This is Philadelphia, home of ECW. And we've seen some edgier stuff lately. Is there any chance we get some blood?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so.
All right. I like that. I hope that happens.
I'll say night 2.
Oh, really? They're going to save it? Now, see, the thing with that, though, is that I'm assuming they're going to want clean Cody for, all the pictures and videos and celebrations of him winning the title. So I figured if we're getting blood, it's probably going to be night 1 with Rock in the ring, where he's going to give the okay.
Yeah.
And I do have one more nerdy, just not important question, but I'm just curious as to where you guys stand on this, because I think my stance is softened on it lately. Do people who main event night 1, can they claim to have main evented WrestleMania?
I think yes. I think the stat where they're saying Roman has surpassed Hogan and counting him twice is suspect. Not that it matters. He's obviously going to main event again after this year. But like when they said that, and I was like, oh, they're counting twice for the same Mania. That I'm not. I think that's stretching it a bit. I think you still count it. I don't think you can double count it like they're doing with Cody and Roman, though. What do you guys think?
I know the WWE, that's how they're counting it. I saw an actual thing on their website, and it was saying night 1 counted for one and night 2 counted for another. So yeah, I think that he's going to be the most all time with this one. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily think it's legit. Even night 1, I'm still kind of like, you're a main event, but are you really like the main thing, which, last year I felt like I saw Sammy and Kevin Owens against the Usos. I was happier with night one than I was night two. But I know Justin mentioned about the being in Philadelphia. This is just kind of a random, but I don't know if you guys saw, but today The Rock, he showed up like late. He was late a couple hours to a WWE event. And just to get some heat, he said he was late because he was watching YouTube videos of Jalen Hurts losing in the playoffs again. So he's got that heat going pretty good right
now. Oh man, sorry, Michael Jenkinson, but that's funny. Yeah. All right, so we're all pretty much on the same page with night one. So then you get to night two, and we all think it'll be Bloodline rules. I think this is just the classic way to do it. You stack the odds against the babyface. He's got to overcome even more. Does Cody finish the story, Justin Joint? Does it happen?
If he doesn't, I'm done watching WWE. I know that's over the top and dramatic, but I'm fucking done with him if he doesn't finish the story, because that would just be some of the dumbest booking I've ever seen in my life. I am bored to tears with this Roman Reigns reign, and it's just got to end. There's no way, with some of the opportunities they've passed along the way, for them to pass again would just be some of the dumbest shit ever. And this is WrestleMania 40. I hated that he didn't win last year, but you can kind of forgive it thinking, well, they're saving it for 40. That's a big number. 30, that was a big number. Daniel Bryanson, Brian Danielson, whatever the hell his name is now.
Daniel Bryanson. The t-shirt's no copyright infringement there.
These 10, 20, 30, 40, they've all been, crowning achievements for the workhorses. And this just has got to be no different. So it's got to be Cody.
Yeah. So you're not rooting for chaos. You wouldn't laugh if Roman won.
No, I would not laugh. And I wish I'd been in a better place where I could have laughed last year.
Yeah.
But no, this year, absolutely not. It would be unforgivable.
I got to tell you something funny about this before I throw it to you guys. So tonight I picked my older two daughters up from their dance class, and I was playing the Rock's Hollywood Rock theme in the car afterwards, and my oldest daughter recognized it instantly, and she really likes Cody. So I said, I kind of hope The Rock wins and Roman wins this weekend. And I hope Roman beats Cody. And she was like, "What?" She was just beside herself. And she was like, well, I thought you wanted Cody to win. And I was like, I'm just messing with you. But it would be kind of funny. It would not make any sense though. It would make no sense. I mean, this title, I don't remember what Paul Heyman said last year about we're in the fourth inning or whatever inning he said, which was ludicrous. As this thing's been running on fumes for months now. You can't keep it on him any longer. You just can't. And to emphasize that even more, and I said this on the show a couple of weeks ago, it might have been last week, where I asked you, no, I think it was 2 weeks ago. I asked you guys, is Rock, kind of stealing heat from Roman? And I think he is. I think every time Rock is out there, not that Roman isn't very good. He is. Don't get me wrong. But Rock is like so next level. I mean, look, one of the all-time greats. When you see Roman out there with Rock, Roman just looks like an inferior performer. He just does. Like he's felt like an afterthought ever since Rock came back. So like if you kept the title on him, I'd be like, really? This guy's been playing second fiddle to Rock? It feels like to me, he's lost a lot of steam. Not that he had a ton of steam before Rock came back, because like I said, he was kind of on fumes, but like he's really on fumes now. He needs to like lose and go away for a couple of months and come back with a whole new angle. That's what I think. Jesse, go ahead.
He goes away even when he wins. What does it matter?
True. He needs to go away even longer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think right around even coming back at SummerSlam unannounced might be the ticket I think, for him at this rate, and really make the people forget about him. Cody also said that Diamond Dallas Page approached him the day after and said that you may not think about it now, but this loss might be the best thing that happened to you in your career. We're talking about 39 last year, and we're just leading up to this moment 360 some days later, and everything's set on the table for him. If you don't pull the trigger, I don't even want to know, can't even fathom what in the world's going to happen. Go ahead, Justin.
I was just going to say, if you don't pull the trigger to the guy that you just re-signed to a new contract, you just re-signed a mid-carder. So congratulations. You buried your last possible hope of having, a main eventer.
A mid-carder who signed for a ton of money. That's out of his mouth. And there's probably people from another federation going, well, okay, is the grass greener on that other side? Cody just lost again. Are we gonna get a chance at a championship if we head over there? So no, I think Cody wins. And Ryan, just as a joke, when your daughters wake up the next morning and ask who won, you should cue up Robin's tribal chief theme.
Oh, God. Just walk out and go like this.
Yep.
With the one in the air.
You really should.
Oh, they would lose it. They would not be happy.
Get a video reaction on there. Play it for the Patreons.
Happy.
Only $5 a month. Top Rope Nation. Patreon.com/Top Rope Nation.
I think they might cry, to be honest. They were very disappointed last year. And, to the point you made about DDP and him saying best thing, I can't say that. I think this is lateral, if anything. I mean, I can't say that him losing last year has made this better. I don't think that's the case at all. Sure, he's getting to work with The Rock one night, but I still think there's a pretty good argument to be made that they fucked this up last year, because they could have done Rock and Roman this year and it would have been exactly what they wanted and they wouldn't have had to pivot. So I still will not say that was the right move. It's not increased his heat. He's still very over, but it hasn't made it sweeter or better, Justin.
Well, counterpoint. If they had pulled the trigger on the title change last year, we would have gotten Rock and Roman this year, but we would not have gotten heel Rock. And heel Rock has been the magnet for this entire thing.
That's true. Yeah.
And for Cody's career, he probably does not main event WrestleMania 40 twice. That was the point that was driven home with Ariel Helwani by Cody.
I mean, he would have been in the main event, though. No question about it. I don't know how he could be. So, yeah, but he's what we're just talking about. It counts, right? If you're in there once. Now, can you double count it? I don't know. But he would have been in the main event. He still would be the most over babyface, especially with the title. I mean, they'd have to put him out there.
And then back to the night one part, that means you would eliminate Sasha and Bianca from main event history if you were not to count night one, and heaven forbid anyone says anything about that.
Yeah, and that would, for sure counts. I mean, Jesus, that was tremendous. Yeah,
and that's where I've kind of landed. Sorry, Huffman, we're kind of over. My last point on the night one main event thing, I think that's what it comes down to for me, is what the match is. To me, I thought the match was good, but I don't really consider the Usos versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as a WrestleMania main event. But yeah, Sasha and Bianca, absolutely. That's something that I could have seen actually main eventing a one night WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of where I land anyways.
All right. Anyways, we've been rambling.
I know.
Huffman, so just whatever you want to talk about, go.
Tell us to shut up, man.
Well, actually, I want to talk about the Bleacher Report, Bret the Hitman Hart being number one, but
top WWE stars of all time.
Yeah, that's another topic for another day, but I was okay with it. I think it's got to be Cody. Just for all the points you guys said, a lot of it's where would he go if he doesn't win? And I don't know. I think with the bloodline rules, if this is the way we're mapping it out, I just see somehow and maybe inadvertently The Rock costing Roman, and then that would build your, not a spoiler here, but you could see Roman turn on The Rock, then Monday night, write him off, and then you could start that whole story again in 6 months and build that for 41. But yeah, I think it's time. Justin made some good points there about, you look at every 10 years of what Mania's been, Brett at 10.
Redacted.
Yeah, that dude at 20. 30 with Daniel Bryan. I just think
Daniel
it's gotta be his
Bryanson.
moment. So
Daniel Bryanson.
yeah, Daniel Bryanson. I was actually at that. That was probably one of my number one moments there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think that he will attack. Something will happen with Rock and Roman for sure to set up the future. I don't want to see Rock like cost Roman and cheapen Cody's win in any way. You know, like I don't want to see him help Cody win per se, but I think you'll have some kind of turn. At least I hope. I think if Rock costs Roman, I think that would be a bad move.
And cheapen all the great build that they've done.
Yes.
Cheapen that moment in Chicago.
Yeah, exactly.
I still think this is going to be overbooked and convoluted. What I'm crossing my fingers for is the Cenas, the Austins, and everything to be outside of the ring, along ringside, and don't get in the ring. Keep Cody and Roman by themselves in the ring. I'm sorry. I see it. It's going to be overbooked, convoluted. You're going to see multiple people involved in this main event. Half of the crowd's going to absolutely love it and not care because they love nostalgia, Pavlov.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's us. We're going to go, well, Cody didn't win it clean. We're going to question it on Monday. We're going to question it next week.
That's why you got to do all the Gaga on night one. That's why I think you need to do Austin and Cena on night one, not night two.
I do agree. I know World Wrestling. We know World Wrestling Entertainment. I think it's all happening night two.
Yeah, I hope we're wrong on that, but we'll see. Yeah. So we're all on board though. We all think Cody's winning.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be totally asinine if he doesn't. I mean, can you imagine him losing 2 years in a row? Jesus. Not to totally change the subject, but Ryan Huffman, I don't know if you saw this in the group. I know I want to put this on the screen because our friend Gabe Benson just posted this in the Facebook group. Something for sale at WWE's shop. You have to pick that one up, Ryan. Look at that.
Oh my.
Heart Foundation Letterman's jacket.
Oh
catch
my.
you guys later. I gotta go back.
Look at that beauty.
I was going to go buy it when we talk about the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley against whatever they're called.
I had a coworker of mine that I work with, and he will send me random wrestling finds that he thinks are funny. And he sent me the Bret Hart where he's posing in front of the Glacier shirt.
Mm-hmm.
The button down, and he was like, "Oh, isn't this thing crazy?" And then I sent him a picture of me wearing it and from the Bahamas, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you really do have that, don't you?" And I was just like,
Justin Joint had the poster back in the day.
I had that poster hanging in my bedroom wall as a boy. It was that and Sting.
Yes, indeed. All right, let's talk a little Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre, who was at the funeral home for CM Punk on Monday night. This guy, unbelievable content. Does Drew McIntyre win the secondary world title from Seth Rollins? This is going to be on night 2, of course. Seth working the tag on night 1. We've talked a lot about Drew. We're big fans of Drew and this heel turn. What do we think? Does he walk out with the gold, Justin?
I think he should. Especially they just announced that Clash at the Castle is going to be in Scotland this year. You got to think that he's going to be headlining that thing. And what better way to do that than as your mid-card world champion? I'd assume they're going to probably build to a Punk match perhaps for that show. Drew's the best thing in the company right now. Rock notwithstanding, because we all know this is just a temporary run for The Rock, but Drew has been just on another level, and I think Seth as a baby face could maybe do with a little bit of a chase.
Do we think that they would hold off on Drew for Clash at the Castle, knowing that possibly Seth would be taking 2 L's on both nights? and say, we can't have this guy lose both nights, but we got this show coming up, and we get you locked down in a contract long term, and we can have you go over there. What do you think?
That's a great point. My only counter argument would be, Drew was the guy who was approaching his WrestleMania moment, and it was stolen away by COVID, where he won the title in front of nobody, and so that's been his big drive, and he's even mentioned it in promos leading up to this match, is that he needs to win this world title in front of people. And I think it'd be
sorry, go ahead.
No, all I was going to say, I think it would just be a shame to miss that opportunity again. Kind of the same thing with Cody. How many times can you let somebody, lose?
My counter to that would be, he's a heel now. So like when he won before, you were expecting the big baby face pop. Now it's like people are going to boo. But if he won it at Clash at the Castle, he'd be getting cheered there because it's in Scotland, so
true.
I don't know. What does that venue in Scotland hold, by the way? I'm looking at it right now. I don't think it's that big.
I was going to say, I saw people online nitpicking that that's where they're running it.
It's like less than an NBA stadium here in the US. So you'd be getting cheered. Wouldn't be quite the same. But
yeah.
What do you think, Jesse? Who goes over here and why?
Be a more intimate venue, raucous, with a little bit smaller crowd. But I mean, Drew has lost a ton of world championship matches in the last handful of years. I think he should do this and win in yet another election year. 4 years ago was the last time you won that championship. So Seth is going to be weakened from the night before. Drew's going to be very fresh walking into it. He can use that to his advantage. I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre winning the mid-card world title.
Great point.
I think we want to forget it's an election year this time, and we can just call it a Summer Olympics year. How about that? We're not going to talk about the election. Ryan Huffman, what do you think?
Well, I will agree with your guys' points. I think it should be Drew's moment, and I'm going to throw this one out here. I think Seth retains, and I think we get a Priest cash in.
Oh God.
Oh no.
I know that's up there with the cringing of me talking about Brett Vince McMahon, but
I was not going to bring that up. I was not going to bring it. I thought before you came on tonight, when I was getting my beer out of the fridge, I was like, should I do a special intro for Huffman? Should I say he's the only man on earth that could make you think that Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon was a top 25 Bret Hart match or top 20? What was it? Yeah. And
20,
I was like, no, I won't do that. I'm not going to do that to him. But there you go. You took it anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I've loved how this match has evolved. Honestly, I mean, it was, if you watched Punk's interview the other day, I think night one main event was supposed to be Punk versus Rollins, which I'm a CM Punk fan all the way through, but I think this has actually worked out better. To be completely honest, I think
agree.
I don't know, Punk on commentary. It'll be whatever, but I don't know. I'm just thinking something random. I think maybe you have Seth retain, and then that would be one way to do a cash in to try to build like a Priest, who I think those guys will drop the tag titles. We'll see. I think it should be Drew.
Do we think Punk gets involved in the finish?
Yes.
Because I did, that he was asked when he did the Ariel Helwani show when he was coming back. And Punk was like, I don't want to spoil anything, but he said they got these big overseas shows coming up. Like, does he cost Drew and then they do Drew and him at Clash at the Castle? I don't know. I agree with you guys. I think Drew should win the title. If there's any justice in this world, for God's sake, I think he should win the title. But I have questions. Seth is such a company man that like him losing both nights feels like a stretch to me, even though I think Drew is the logical choice here. I'm not comfortable picking him.
To Ryan, God, there's two fucking Ryans. To Huffman's point, they have the built-in excuse for Seth Rollins to lose a night 2, that he can take a beating on night 1 He's got the bum knee that he just recovered from. They can use all of that as reasoning to why he would lose twice at WrestleMania. And I don't think he would care. He's getting his main event night one,
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd be fine with it.
The degenerative back that he's fought the last 6 months as well. Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall. He's softened up. He's going to be even softened up more from the night before.
Yeah. All right. We are not going to talk about every single match on this show, or we would be here for 4 hours and nobody's going to listen to this in 48 hours. So we're going to keep moving here and pick out a few to talk about. Let's go to the Rhea Ripley Becky Lynch match for the women's world title. I think this one's pretty interesting. They've had decent build for this match. Rhea's great. We saw him have that match, or her have that match over in Perth and get the great home country welcoming and all of that. Becky's had her WrestleMania moments before. Do they try to make things right? If Seth Rollins is going to lose both nights, are they going to try to make things right in the Lopez household and have Rebecca go over here and win the title? Because we know also the contract situation with those two coming up, and we expect them to be working in tandem and getting deals together, given they're a married couple and everything. I'm going to pick Becky Lynch to win this match. I think Becky goes over. Justin, what do you think?
I don't really have a whole lot to say. I'm going to go Rhea just because I think she's infinitely more interesting right now. I am very curious to read Becky Lynch's book, but honestly, even just for the sake of the pro wrestling industry, I think it'd be far better for Becky Lynch to lose this match and maybe make a move elsewhere.
I agree with that part for sure. Jesse, what do you think?
I believe Rhea retains here as well. And Becky was being a little bit hypocritical, by the way, when she was calling out Rhea's stink face from a house show. Just saying how it was just a horrible look for her daughter. We've been setting the industry back by doing that. When her and Seth are posing with their world championships over their private parts.
Now, that was a private photo that she put in her book, right?
It's not private if it's in a book, isn't it?
But that was years ago, right? When they took that picture. I think it's a little different. No.
If it's in a book.
I think doing something in front of a crowd, like live, to me is different than like you took this picture nobody ever saw until now, and then you thought, all right, I'll put it in a book. I think it's not like the picture in the book is like not I don't know, it's not part of WWE canon per se, but I see what you mean.
That's at least a fair point, Ryan. I'll give you that. Yeah.
But I see what you mean.
Go ahead.
She's got to be working with the stink face thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way she's actually upset about that.
Nah.
So you can look at a Rhea Bianca or a Rhea Jade Cargill WrestleMania 41 world title match next year. Let Rhea go on a 2-year run with this thing and drop it to one of those two.
The other thing that I think, and I'll throw it to Huffman with this, is that Becky had this book that Justin mentioned that has just come out, and she's doing this book tour, having some gold with her. They like getting those title belts out there in the media. I'm just saying. What do you think, Ryan?
I'm gonna go Ripley. I think you got one long streak with Roman coming to an end. I think you at least have her and maybe Gunther continuing on with their WWE is pretty fascinated with how many days we're holding on to the title, even though it doesn't matter right now. But yeah, that's just how I feel. I think she's probably the most interesting of any of the women's wrestlers right now, doing just great work. So yeah, her match last year with Charlotte, when I was at that, I mean, I walked away from the night and we were talking about what our favorite match was, and I'm like, that match was so good that I don't know. I think she'll just kind of keep on doing her thing.
Yeah. I mean, I would prefer Ripley to win. I'm more of a fan of Ripley's work right now on television. I agree with all of you. I think that she's the more compelling character by far. I'm just thinking big picture, what's happening behind the scenes, the book tour. I think I'm going to stick with. I'll be the odd man out. I'll stick with Becky in this one. What about the
little disappointed. I didn't see any Iowa dates on her book tour. So
same. I was hoping to take my girls to meet her
Yeah.
because they love Becky Lynch, and I'm like, I'll take you if she comes here, and she freaking lives in Iowa.
yeah, Barnes and Noble in Des Moines, get it done.
Yeah, I was kind of stunned. I figured like maybe Iowa City or something, but no, not yet. I mean, they'll probably add dates, I'm sure, to the tour. But yeah,
at the very least, Davenport.
Where she lives. I mean, for God's sakes, yeah, you would think, but I don't know. I'm going to keep watching though, because I would like to take my older girls at least to meet her. Let's look at the other women's title match. You know, the Damage Control breakup. Io Sky, who I think all of us are big fans of, taking on Bayley. What do we think happens here, Justin? You got a winner here?
I don't really care.
After I just said we all like Io Sky.
I know I do like Io Sky. It just feels like they've been building, artificially.
There's a story to it. I mean,
okay,
Bayley
that's fine. That's
kicked
fine.
out of Damage Control, but I mean, yeah, it's not maybe that compelling.
I don't think it's been executed very well.
Yeah,
like they did it too quickly. It was too obvious that this was just, let's give Bayley a moment, and I to your point about Io Sky, I would much prefer to see her win this, but I think this is just a Bayley moment. So good for her. Yay.
Jesse.
Big fan of Io's prowess in the ring, and I always have been. Her character has never stood out in this group.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate. And I think once Bayley, I'm going with Bayley here as well to win because of the whole hasn't had the moment, only four horse. No, Sasha hasn't won a match of Mania either. Mercedes, I was going to say. So Bayley's the only current WWE horsewoman that hasn't had her moment just yet. And what they need to do from here is start to balance out the women's divisions on both sides of the fence, because once either Rhea or Becky wins it, there's nothing left to go through on the Raw side, where SmackDown has quite a few. So hopefully there's a little bit of a shuffle. That's why it was kind of odd to add Jade there as well. So yeah, Bayley wins, and I think we've all been in the camp that Damage Control has just been jobber to the stars for the last year and some change. And it's going to stay this way too.
Mr. Huffman.
Bayley, I'd be interested to see if we get a throwback entrance too. Just get the inflatables and kind of take Bayley back to her old character. I don't know. I just, yeah. I think that would be a good move for her, but I don't know. For her to lose, it's kind of like, well, if she loses, what do you do with her now too?
Mm-hmm. I agree for that reason. I'm picking Bayley. So I think Bayley wins here. IC title match. Gunther, Sami Zayn. I'll throw to Jesse first because you mentioned the montage they did on Monday night. What do you think's happening here? Is Gunther going to retain, or are they pulling a switch?
In typical WWE fashion, they're trying to make you believe. They're really doing a convincing job, I think, this time to try to make you believe that Sami can do this, because he's questioning that. Yeah, he's just questioning himself. Even Chad Gable questioned if he could beat him, and Chad's been helping him. We've all talked about it, that it doesn't make any sense for Sami to win this either. For his character, he's already had the world title shot opportunity, and then we talked about the space in between Gunther losing it and then being elevated to the world championship. Well, suppose Cody gets crowned and Drew gets crowned. I don't think Gunther's going to be the one to, if he loses here, he's not going to be one of the first couple of challengers. So I'm going to stay with Gunther to retain for whatever day we're on now, 600-ish. But it's going to be a hell of a match, because Sami is one of the best sympathetic baby faces I've ever seen.
I know Justin stopped keeping track after the Honky Tonk Man record went down, so I have no idea. Justin, you?
Splooge. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Huffman.
Oh, you bring up the Honky Tonk Man. I was
sorry, you said splooge, and I just had to put the picture on the screen. I just got it saved for moments like that now.
you bring up the honky tonk man, and I was looking at prices at WrestleCon, and a combo for the honky tonk man is $100 for a combo.
No. Wayne Ferris? What?
Yeah,
Who would pay that?
I don't know.
Jesus.
Wayne Ferris.
Yeah.
$100 to get in a picture with Wayne Ferris? Jesus.
Yep.
I pay $100
This
for
industry
Ferris
has
Bueller.
passed me by, as someone might say. Oh, man. Oh, that's bad. Sorry, continue.
I'll stay Gunther here. I actually think I could see a scenario where maybe Chad Gable like turns on Sammy just to be like, hey, I want to be the one to beat the streak or take the title off him rather than someone else. Sammy's just, you look at the moments Sammy's had the last few years, and I just don't think the Intercontinental title does anything for him personally, but
Bingo.
I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be a good match. I think it'll probably be one of the better matches if they're allowed the time. But Gunther, I see him IC champ maybe another 6 months or through SummerSlam, have newer talent or elevate someone else to take it off of him, and then I think you heat him up for the one of the big titles or the middle card one that Seth currently has, but.
Yeah, Jesse, you think there might be someone coming up to take the title off of him then?
Yeah, I kind of whispered that.
Yeah.
Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, I'm going with Gunther here too, but I do think it's going to be a tremendous match. I am looking forward to the match.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think this will end up being, if you just talk about in-ring between two guys, no Gaga, this will be match of the night. Huffman's basically made all my points. There's really no excitement with Sammy winning the IC title again. And if I were them, I think this would be step one in building to Sammy beating Gunther at WrestleMania 41 for either, the world title or the mid-carders world title.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe. I'm looking at the rest of this card. I mean, I know Jay and Jimmy, I guess, is a pretty big match. We can talk about that. There's a lot of these matches on here where it's like, all right, like the 6-pack ladder match is going to have like tons of crazy spots. I don't really care about that match. I don't have really any deep thoughts on it. I mean, I could see them giving DIY like the WrestleMania moment because they've been around forever and never had that. I could see that happening. But I mean, I don't really have any talking points about that match. Jay and Jimmy, I mean, to your point that you always make on social media, Jesse, main event Jay sure could use a win on WrestleMania, huh? So, I mean, I'll pick Jey Uso there, I guess. What do you think?
Yeet.
Makes the most sense.
Gosh, that is
it ain't
so
gonna be
over.
Bret Owen. It ain't gonna be Bret and Owen when it comes to brother versus brother, but I'm sure
Jimmy's been presented the worst of anybody in the entire bloodline.
Yeah.
He's got to be like 0-36. I got to go to cagematch.net after this and check his record out, because heaven forbid he sneaks out a win here and starts calling himself main event Jimmy Uso. So, Jay.
Justin, thoughts on the brother versus brother match?
I think it's been a super shitty build for a match that, like, if a year ago you were telling me we're going to get this, I would have been very excited about it, and I am not excited about this. So, don't care. That's my answer.
Ryan Huffman?
Yeah, what a difference a year makes. I think this would have been, I just think, The Rock, and I've loved The Rock stuff, but I think it's really overshadowed like pretty much everything else on, anything that's been around there. Third brother versus brother match. I mean, you had Bret Hart, Owen Hart, you had Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. I'm actually going to go Jimmy Uso with the assistance of Solo, because Solo's doing nothing this year. And I think they want to try to at least still have him. And like you guys just said, like Jimmy Uso, I couldn't even tell you a match that he's won in this calendar year. So
I could tell you. I just looked it up. You know why you could? Because he hasn't won a match in the calendar year. The last singles match, actually, the last match in general, that Jimmy Uso has been on the winning side of, was on SmackDown on September 29th when he beat Carl Anderson. That was his last win, September 29th. And I mean, he had a couple no contests with LA Knight on live events, but not on TV. I mean, that's not a win. And then before that, you got to go back to I'm scrolling. Okay. Backlash, I guess. May 6th, the Bloodline defeated Owens, Riddle, and Sami Zayn. And that was last May. So he there was some house show matches he was on the winning side of with Jay when they were still a team, like in the summertime. But as far as like televised matches go, oh no, sorry. Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Him and Jay defeated the Bloodline. That's right. Duh.
Jay got the pin though.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, Carl Anderson on SmackDown, Money in the Bank. And then, I mean, you're going, wait, this guy's, the amount of wins he's had in the last year, you could count on one hand. It's incredible. Yeah. That's bad.
They really don't give a shit about win-loss records, the WWE at all.
No. Now, I mean, look at Bianca Belair. We were just talking about her earlier. I mean, she's been the star of WrestleMania for years. And we were talking about this weeks ago. It was like, where does she fit in on this card? It was kind of hard to see a spot for her. And it turns out it's in like a throwaway 6-woman tag, Damage Control, we just talked about, who's been booked like crap. And Bianca's teaming with Jade and Naomi. I mean, I don't know. I don't really care about that match. It sucks. I really like Bianca Belair, but it's a total throwaway match. I mean, it's a way to protect Jade Cargill, who, you know, we thought her going to WWE, she gets to work a little bit more, maybe NXT. I'm sure she's been working in the Performance Center constantly, but like in front of the camera, she hasn't. And I'm sure she's still pretty green. So this is a good way to get her on the card, protect her a little bit. She's in there with a bunch of pros like Asuka and Bianca, Naomi, and Kairi Sane, people that will protect her. But yeah, I mean, this doesn't really do much for me. I'm sure you guys don't have any deep thoughts on that match. I mean, I can throw it to you if you do, but Justin's face says it all right now. I'll move on. So
yeah, move on. They're gonna steamroll them.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the U.S. title match? Logan Paul, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, triple threat.
Can we get Logan on TV more?
Right. Ryan Huffman, who do you think wins that one?
I think Logan retains. This was one of those that at the beginning of the show, I'm like, there's a few things I would have booked different. My buddy Dave in my hometown, we were talking months ago. We are like, oh, it's going to be Logan Paul versus LA Knight. That's going to be a great build. And you're going to have that great moment of LA Knight finally getting a singles title. And I don't know. I like Owens. I like Orton. I think this is Orton's first singles match at a Mania in a few years. But yeah, I think Logan Paul retain. I think build him up for going back to Cleveland here this summer. I don't know if he'll be his IC or US champion, but I don't know. I just felt like this could have been a better matchup for Logan Paul. I think LA Knight would have been the perfect guy for that, but I don't know.
Yeah. Jesse?
Yeah, I think Logan Paul retains it. It's just going to be odd with Kevin Owens and Randy Orton in the ring with him. Who does Kevin Owens eat the pin again? Orton's not going to eat the pin here.
I wouldn't think so.
No, so I'll just go Logan Paul pinning Kevin Owens.
Justin's like, I'm going to just sit away from the mic. Fuck this match right now. I mean,
don't care.
Yeah, I don't either. I have zero thoughts on who's going to win this one.
Talk about shitting the bed on Randy Orton's return at some Survivor Series. Jesus Christ. Now he's in some throwaway triple threat match.
Good point. Very good point. I glance at the rest of the card. I don't really have any deep thoughts on the rest of this unless you guys have one you want to talk about. There's other matches we haven't discussed, but I mean, LA Knight, AJ Styles.
It's another one.
I got no thoughts.
Do you guys So I like LA Knight, and AJ Styles is one of my favorites. I don't think the build's been very good. They've done kind of the gimmicky stuff with LA Knight. I'm a security guard one
Yeah.
week. I showed up at his house the other week. Like, I guess I'd just be interested to know who you guys think is going to win that. I think the obvious should be LA Knight, but sometimes WWE won't do the obvious. I mean, I think when AJ debuted, had his first big match, he lost to Chris Jericho, and thought that was totally the wrong call. But I'm like, I could see a scenario where, I mean, AJ's kind of looked pretty dopey here the last month, and having everything happen to him where I'm like, oh, like, are we going to get an AJ Styles fairly big win for the first time in a while?
I don't think so. Yeah,
I think, I mean, AJ is going to be coming out possibly to, the Creed version of a rap group's new theme song. So, I mean, God, you got to give him the win because that's going to be exciting.
No. LA Knight's got to win this match. I mean, AJ's purpose is just put over he's not that young, but I mean, the more fresh star for sure, I think.
Speaking of guys of mid-40s that just get yoked up and thrown into nothing matches at WrestleMania, there's AJ Styles too.
Mm-hmm. Adam asked in the chat, any surprise debuts or anything that isn't on the card? I mean, I don't think so. I think if they do have anything, they would hold that off till the night after Mania, call-ups or anything like that. No, MJF isn't going to be there, you all. He is under contract to AEW. Hopefully we coming back soon. I've seen that floated out there. I mean, who honestly believes that MJF isn't under contract to AEW? There's people on social media. Maybe Jesse will be featuring them on TRN Unplugged, making fun of them in the coming weeks. But no, MJF will not be at Mania, in case anyone is wondering. But we'll see. Usually they save that for the night after, it feels like. So
during my son's nap time on Saturday afternoon, I am psyched for Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams main event NXT Stand and Deliver. I think that's going to be a top 3 match for the WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, it should be really good. Anything else?
Surprise wise, I mean, I could very much see the tag team title match. I could maybe see like either like Waller and Theory, something happen where they can't participate. And do you get like a Dudley's, or do you get like, because they are in Philadelphia, or do you get a Hardy's return? I don't know what the contract is on them, but maybe something like that too. Maybe as surprises. I think with it being the 40th anniversary, I think they get hit with a lot of nostalgia, and you're going to see a ton of legends there. So that's probably where 30 kind of had some of that too.
Mm-hmm.
And they can split those tag titles up as well. Both sets are hanging from the rafters, and they said the match is over when both sets of championships are taken down.
Awful.
Oh, shit.
Hey, I do know one surprise. Jason Kelsey's going to be there. Get excited for that. Justin. Apparently they reached out to him, so I guess that's happening. But yeah, other than that, haven't heard of anything. Haven't heard of any surprises at all. So
would you be the youngest guy in the WWE main roster?
What is he, like late 30s?
I think he's 36.
You're right, 36, born in 87. All right, so that's WrestleMania 40. That's our thoughts. Like I said at the top, we got a ton of content coming already for patrons, almost 3 hours on WrestleMania 18. You want to hear us go old school, talk about Hogan Rock, talk about the booking of that show, Jericho and Hunter bashing that match. It was a fun time, you guys. Sign up for the Patreon. Watch the video right now. You can also sign up to become a member on our YouTube channel if you don't want to become a patron, and that way you get the video of that show only. But if you're a patron, you're going to get the audio-only podcast of it for your convenience here very soon as well. That will drop this weekend. Like I said, we've got the happy hour virtual hangouts on Saturday and Sunday, 1 hour prior to WrestleMania beginning. Got to be on the $10 plus tier for that. But those are a lot of fun. We did the happy hour about a month ago watching an old Raw. Now we're doing it 2 times this weekend, having some drinks, getting ready for WrestleMania with all of you. I'll be on the Bleacher Report app during the main events live, both Saturday night and Sunday night. You can check us live for the flagship Sunday morning and Monday morning, reviewing each night of WrestleMania. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for that so you can join us live and give us your thoughts the morning after. And of course, subscribe wherever podcasts are found as well. And tons of content. Busiest time of the year if you make wrestling content. And so we're strapped in. We're ready to go. Gonna be a big weekend. Justin Joint, any parting thoughts, my friend?
Nope.
That's it. WrestleMania, baby. Jesse?
Just hope to be standing by Monday morning.
It's a lot of stuff happening this weekend. We are going to be working our asses off. And if you guys like our content, no better way to show us that you do than by becoming a patron. I'll pump it one last time. Help us out. Join the Patreon page. Ryan Huffman, a patron of ours. Appreciate you, all your support, and also you joining us once again. It's been a lot of fun, my friend.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Just everybody enjoy. I mean, this is always one of the best weekends. There's a lot of other good wrestling out there too. I mean, if you ever go to a WrestleMania, like, support those indie shows because those are awesome. And even here in a few weeks, I mean, the AEW pay-per-view is looking like that's going to be pretty electric stuff. So pretty jealous of the people that are going to that.
We have been very WWE heavy the last couple of weeks here on the pod, but after WrestleMania, if you're an AEW fan, you're waiting for that AEW conversation. That's coming. Start next week. So be ready. Look at that. Justin Joint with the AEW World Title Belt figurine title.
My kid keeps asking me, why do you keep taking my belts back downstairs?
Gotta have
You better hold on to it because Will Ospreay is going to take that here in a few months. So.
Yeah, buddy.
He's good.
Jesse will be there, right?
Probably.
Going overseas, going across the pond. All right, everybody. This has been a lot of fun. Appreciate your support. We will be talking to you very soon, so stay tuned. We'll see you later. Have a good weekend.
Please finish the story.